Welcome to Lesson 8 of Introduction to Botany, and today we're going to be diving in deeper into early plant evolution and phylogeny. Now, Bryophytes and Seedless Vascular plants were among the earliest land plants. They evolved from green algae ancestors over 500 million years ago, and they were studied using phylogenetic trees, which shows evolutionary relationships in the order of divergence over time. Now, early diverging doesn't equal less evolved. All modern plant groups have been evolving for the same amount of time. Now, a good overview on bryophytes. These are a non-vascular plant. They include mosses, liverworts, and hornworts. They're a monophyletic group. They share a single common ancestor and are more closely related to each other than to any other plant groups. And the key characteristics of bryophytes is that they lack true roots, stems, and leaves. They're non-vascular tissue, so no xylem or phloem. They have relatively small size due to the reliance on diffusion, and they live in consistently moist environments. And they have two different structures. They have rhizoids, which are root-like and anchored plants, but don't absorb much water, and they have phyllids, and these are leaf-like structures and absorb water and nutrients directly. Bryophytes were also the first plants to colonize land. They developed the stomata, especially mosses, that have pores that regulate gas exchange, and this was essential for terrestrial life. Now, bryophytes in general have a lot of ecological importance. The mosses, like sphagnum moss, forms peat, and that peat stores over 500 billion tons of carbon, which reduces atmospheric CO2 and has a major climate change impact. And bryophytes were a pioneer species after fires or floods. They stabilize soil and survive extreme conditions, like in the Arctic. And there's three main types of bryophytes. You have mosses. There's over 12,000 different species of mosses. They're a key contributor to land plant evolution, and they have major carbon sinks. Then you have liverworts, which are important for soil formation, decomposition, and nutrient cycling, and they often are the first colonizers of bare rock. And you have hornworts, and they're the least common bryophytes. They're often tropical and can form symbiotic relationships with nitrogen-fixing bacteria. And bryophytes have very specific reproduction life cycles, and we can't get into that without going into the alternation of generations. And this was discovered by a man named Wilhelm Hofmeister. The life cycle alternates between gametophyte or haploid, which produces gametes, or egg and sperm, and it's a dominant stage in bryophytes. And you have sporophyte, which are diploids. They produce spores. They grow attached to and dependent on gametophytes. Then you have the reproductive process. This is where the sperms require water to swim to the egg. The fertilization produces a diploid zygote. The sporophyte releases spores, and the spores germinate into a new gametophyte. And this kind of life cycle revealed that all plants share some form of alternation generations. Even fossil spores showed bryophytes existed long before dinosaurs. And after bryophytes, you get into seedless vascular plants. And a quick overview on this is that they evolved after bryophytes. They include lycophytes and ferns, which are monilophytes, and they reproduce via spores, not seeds. Now, seedless vascular plants, they have vascular tissue, like xylem and phloem, which allows efficient transport of water and nutrients. They have true roots, stems, and leaves, and this allowed plants to grow taller and spread in drier environments. Now, with seedless vascular plants, there's a dominant sporophyte, and the sporophyte is the dominant visible plant. This allows larger size, more spore production, and greater dispersal. And there's two main groups. You have the lycophytes, which is an ancient group, once tree-sized over 300 million years ago, and they were important in formation of early forests. Modern examples would be like clubmosses and spike mosses, and they're not actually true mosses despite their name. And then you have ferns, which are monilophytes. They often have fronds or large leaves. They have diverse forms. You have aquatic ferns, whisk ferns, horsetails. And these have major ecological roles. It has air purification, they're sensitive indicators of climate change, and nutrient cycling. Now, a comparative summary would be that bryophytes don't have vascular tissue, their dominant generation is a gametophyte, they don't have true roots, stems, or leaves, they reproduce via spores, and they need water for fertilization. Whereas seedless vascular plants do have vascular tissue, their dominant generation is a sporophyte. They do have true root stems and leaves. They do reproduce via spores, and they still do need water for fertilization. Now, if you could take away anything from this episode, it's that bryophytes were the first true land plants. There was seedless vascular plants, which were introduced vascular tissue, and both groups reproduce with spores and require water for fertilization. These plants shaped early terrestrial ecosystems, reveal key steps in plant evolution, and still remain ecologically vital to today. In Lesson 9, I'll be going further into seed evolution and how flowering plants evolved. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Introduction to Botany course. I hope to see you in more future episodes, and if you want to subscribe, you can get updated on any botanical or plant content that I post in general.